the sun is out and the weather is hot and you're wearing pants, but you know you should not. Soft clothes. You join me inside the 2021 Porsche Panamera, and I'm not going to add any other characters to the end of that because this is the base car. And I'm excited because I hardly ever get to drive base cars, even when they're loaded up with expensive options like this one. But I digress. The 21 model year Porsche Panamera gets a light refresh, including new powertrain options, even for its base car. And so in this in-depth review of its exterior, interior, and driving dynamics, we're going to see how well the 21 Panamera stacks up against rivals like the Mercedes-Benz CLS, the BMW 8 Series Grand Coupe, and the Audi A7. That's today on Miles Per Hour. And there it is, the 2021 Porsche Panamera. Base. Why? Why, Miles? This one is painted in gentian blue metallic. It's an $840 paint upgrade with some modest metallic flake on the surface, but a very deep blue color that, honestly, if the sun hits it just right, looks almost purplish. I like it. The exterior changes for 21 on the Panamera are on the subtler side. The previously optional sport design front fascia, this plastic molding down here, is now standard on all Panameras. Apologies in advance for all the extra ambient noise today. My directional mic just gave up the ghost this morning. Tons of airflow with the sport design front fascia, so sending cool air to that intercooler in the center, and then radiators to the right and left, with some other cool air traveling on to the front wheels, front brakes and tires rather. LED fog lights integrated here. This one with the premium package has Porsche's dynamic lighting system and LED headlights with the quad LED daytime running lights there. And I love the housing for these headlights. A lot going on here, the teardrop shape and the honeycombing down here into the mesh above that, the smooth curves, the ripples, and the alien looking LED headlights jutting out from there. It's like jewelry. Eyeball jewelry on the Panamera. Porsche's crest right here in the center. It's not a sticker, that's an actual emblem. Some sharp creases on the hood there. Stepping back to look at the front quarter. The fluidity of this design really comes across, especially here with these arches, very 911 inspired, and they roll on back to the rear of the vehicle. The wheels, 19 inches as standard on the Panamera, but this one has optionally upgraded 20-inch Panamera turbo wheels, which I don't know about you, but that name makes them sound like they should be more exciting than what we have here, because these are some pretty generic looking 5 split spoke designs. If I'm paying extra money for my wheels, I want something more exciting. They are wrapped in fantastic Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires, 275 section in the front, and a whopping 315 section in the rear. That's a crazy amount of good rubber for just 325 horsepower. We have optional Porsche painted crests in the center there that do bother me a little bit because they're not upright. And so we've got this one going in this direction, and the back wheel is going in the opposite direction. Just don't look at them too closely if you have OCD. 13.8-inch front rotors, 13 inches in the rear. They're not drilled or slotted rotors, but they are excellent brakes nonetheless. Functional aerodynamics on the side with this pass-through channel here, extracting some turbulent air from the front wheel arches. Plastic extended side skirts here. Body color matching door mirrors up top, and a black gloss extension arm. Looking at the profile, I'm just reminded of the first time I saw the Panamera when the first generation came out, and I just looked at the profile and I looked at the rear and I was like, how can I justify this car's looks? It was not a good looking car. That rear hump was so awkward. But with the second generation that came out in 2017 and onwards now to 21, it's just so much cleaner. The gentle taper of that roof line, the beautiful C-pillar there. And now the distinction between this and the shooting brake Sport Turismo, which I think looks fantastic. This being the, you know, quote unquote 4-door coupe, and then you've got the shooting brake. It's just it's a nice 1-2 punch for the Panamera lineup. At the rear, more changes for 21. We've got this LED bar that comes across the whole tailgate, whole trunk. Porsche lettering spelled out here, Panamera below that. Redesigned diffuser down here with dual exhaust ports. Just tidies up the rear end. It's a very handsome look, clean design. Again, not an aggressive physique, but it just flows so nicely and looks good in that gentian blue. Let's check out that interior. On our way in, we've got keyless entry, so you can leave the key in your pocket, pull on the door handle to unlock it, put your finger on that tab right there to lock it. We've got that for the front doors and the rear ones. What do we say to that? Maximum convenience. Opening up and looking inside, quite the spec here with that blue exterior and Luxor beige interior. I think it's beautiful. This having the premium package means we've got 14-way power adjustable heated and ventilated front seats. Dig this integrated headrests with the seat designs. All your controls are gonna be down here in this metalish finish, including thigh support. Essential. Panamera metal tread plates here. Porsche floor mats. Leatherette continues down here. Got some stitching up on this upper dashboard. This one has piano gloss black trim, which if you've seen my reviews, you know I'm not a huge fan of because it scratches and smudges so easily and collects dust. But while it's clean, it does look cool. Solid feeling door handle. 2-position memory seats. Bose 14 speaker 710 watt sound system down here. Ambient lighting surrounds that at night. Window controls. Power folding door mirrors. Your blind spot monitoring is going to be just inside that door mirror. If you want to open up the hatchback, press and hold down that button once, and the hatch opens nice and tall, such that taller individuals are not really at any risk of hitting their heads on it. And it's just so easy to load things in the back. That hatch really comes into play. Huge opening here. Got this fabric top cargo cover, which you can leave on or take off easily. Metal anchor points here, very nice. Netted portions on the right and left. Nice and deep too, so you can fit 2 sets of golf clubs width-wise pretty easily. Under the floor, not more storage. You just have your battery, tire inflation kit, and Bose sub. If you need more utility in this, then you're gonna have to either reach in here and press those tabs to the right and left of the seat backs, or, because that's actually kind of difficult because it's so deep, you'll want to walk over here, open up the rear doors, reach your hand in, grab it, and pull it on down. Now it does fold down almost completely flat, so that's definitely added utility here. And I will have already, at this point, listed the cargo specs with the seats up and down, and they're 60-40 split folding. To close up the hatch, you've got 2 buttons here, one to just close it, or one to close and lock. Beeping during the process so you know it's closing. Don't accidentally get your head or hand in there. I want to show the fuel because it's not capless fueling. I really wanted it to be capless fueling, but instead we just have Porsche written out on the fuel cap cover. Lifting back up the seats is real easy. Closing the doors, check this out. Soft close. Also part of that premium package. Heading back to the front, we'll hop inside now. And fire it up to get some air going. It's hot. Kind of just haphazardly close the door because you've got soft close. That really is a nice feature. So looking ahead, all new Panameras get a new steering wheel design. This one has the GT Sport heated steering wheel, so you press this button on the back. It's kind of hidden here. That pops up on the TFT display, telling you that the heating has turned on, or you turn it off. The GT Sport gives you these black accents here on the wheel. Love Porsche wheels for their size and shape. Just nice indents here at 9 and 3. Perfect thickness. Leather wrapping feels pretty good. I don't know, I felt softer. This feels a little plasticky. Anytime you can just hear your hand wiping on the surface very distinctly, tells me they could do a better job. Paddle shifters on the back, aluminum, and they're not huge, but there's a really satisfying click when you change the gear. You've got just standard cruise control, but lane keep assist is now standard on the Panamera. Press in this tab here and it keeps it in the center of the lane. This one also with the premium package is optional lane change assist. Turn signals just show up just to the right of the analog tack and left. Zooming in, you've got your speed there, the drive selection on the right hand side. This is a reconfigurable gauge. Hang on, I gotta turn up the air. Dying. Reconfigurable gauge, so you just swipe up on this knurled finish controller and you can see these are customizable settings that we can do in here. I'll show you how that's done. You've got your fuel gauge obviously up top, oil temp down low, tire pressure in there, G-force meter, Sport Chrono. So this one has the Sport Chrono package. So you get the lap timer up here on the dashboard looking real cool. You also get a Sport Plus drive mode selected with this knob here on the steering wheel. So you crank that right, go through the drive modes, normal, Sport, Sport Plus with that package, and individual. You can hear the baffles and the exhaust open up as you do that as well. Moving back through this, full navigation takes over both the right dials. And then we're back here with your customized settings. This furthest right dial can also be reconfigured. We've got an analog clock here, but you can show a digital clock or a compass. Already mentioned the tack right in the center, that's classic Porsche. And then if we want to see what's on the left display, click this one more time, we slide over. Not much to change up here. It's a speedo all the time, but then the info in the center can change. Telemetry, some navigation data, and your speed limit warnings. That furthest left, that one you can't change as well. So that's just going to show your outside air temperature. No head-up display on this vehicle. It is an option, however. So big thumbs up on the steering wheel. If you want to control the tilt and telescope, it is power adjustable with quite a bit of variability. Moving on to the 12.3-inch touchscreen infotainment running the latest generation of Porsche's communication management system. Very easy to use. You've got these tiles to reconfigure in your home screen. Navigation gives you, oh my gosh, super sharp graphics. So responsive. Love this system. In car, hop up to drive, and here's where your drive modes or redundancies of your control wheel here. I would much rather use this. Start stop button appears here, though it's not anywhere on the center stack for quick reference. Spoiler, you can raise or lower here. Cool graphic to do that. Hold it, and it goes back down. Chassis stiffness is a setting here. Ride height is there. Go on to control, and here's where your ambient lightings appear. So you can set these different colors, not 64 different options like in the Mercedes-Benz vehicles, but you do have zones of lighting. So you've got the total brightness, but then roof, doors, center console, and footwell are all different zones that you can set. Going into trip information here, and chrono. So if you've been setting laps, they'll all appear here for you to reference. Climate control. Lots of different adjustments here, and one annoying one. So you've got physical controls for these air vents on the side with this knurled finish, that's nice. But this center vent, if you want to change it quickly, you can't. You have to go into climate control, then go to vent, and then set where you want the vent to go. How you want the air focused or diffused, but also where you want it to go. This, it's just like the Porsche Taycan, but I kind of let that one slide because it's a future forward vehicle. This just being an ICE car, I just want to, quickly adjust where the air is going to go. This is unnecessary. Apps, your driver assistance features, sound and devices, your wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto system are going to be here. I will show you some footage of that. And that's your PCM system. Down here, more gloss piano black. This is gonna get real smudgy real fast. And if the sunlight's hitting it in just a certain way, it's hard to see certain things. You will get used to the layout and you will be able to reference it quickly after a while. I like that these are knurled finishes, quick adjustments for the temperature and for the fan speed and your volume, and this being a controller to hunt your way around the infotainment. But I still want, I don't know, easier settings here. Your chassis stiffness and traction control system are illuminated on this bottom portion here. Your seat heating and ventilation controls are here. And there is haptic feedback when you do change those up. The drive mode selector wrapped in leather up top with this metalish finish down below. Tap on the back, you press in and push forward to get to reverse, where we find the optional surround view camera system, bird's eye view off to the right. On the left, we've got a wide angle front and rear, side views, super wide front and super wide rear. Press in and pull back for drive. Click it over left to go into manual mode and use these paddles. And I love this, if you hit the park button, which is here, while it's in manual mode, it puts the track selector back in the center. Thank you. Pull up on this for the e-brake. Panamera spelled out here that if you press it, it will reveal a little cubby that was clearly an ashtray, or maybe still is in the European market. 2 different size cup holders. Center console, you press this tab and pull up. Got some storage for your key. Porsche keys are always so cool. The silhouette of a car. Crest up there, unlock, lock, and your hatch open. Panic on the back. This flap holds your smartphone for wireless smartphone charging. USB-C port and DC socket. Tiny bit of extra storage. On the passenger side, this big panel of piano gloss black. Nice solid feeling handle for your glove box. Open that up with this leather casing that holds your owner's manual. Frameless rear view mirror. These are ambient pieces at night, looks super cool. You've got 2 knurled finish controls to open and close the front and rear shades, which do take their time. I like this metal piece right here though, that's cool. You can also ventilate the sunroof or fully open it. That again takes some time. This wind buffer here pops up. That is as far back as the sunroof does open though. Wish it had more opening. The Luxor beige headliner to match the seat color is a nice touch. That same material on the sun visor. Good size vanity mirror and LED light. Oh no, it does not slide. So you have this exposed portion of the driver window where the sun can get through. Plastic grab handle, come on. Insult to injury. Let's go check out those rear seats now. Doors open nice and wide. Easy access to a beautiful rear cabin with the same sport bucket seat designs like the front. And with that premium package, these are heated, not ventilated. Leatherette, piano gloss black, and more leatherette with some stitching and one-touch windows that go all the way down, thank you very much. None of this half-opening stuff. Hopping inside. Sitting behind my own driving position at 6 feet tall. You can see I've got plenty of knee room here. Large footwells as well, so I can slide my feet under, decrease that knee angle. The whole back of the seat is covered in leather. Feels great. Even the storage pouch back here. There was a metal tread plate, but there's nothing on it. Ooh, beautiful garnish on the air vent in the B-pillar. With the premium package, each of us rear seat passengers gets our own climate control adjustments via the same knurled toggles as the front. Pretty neat. Seat heating is activated via these buttons with 3 stages, or you go in here to seat, start playing around with the touchscreen infotainment now, and you can drag your finger to adjust what level of seat heating you want. Neat, but totally unnecessary. As is the same adjustment of the air vent like the front, where you go into climate, vent, select which side you want, and then direct the air. Cool, and I mean, it's not a distraction like it is for the driver back here. This is something to do now as a rear seat passenger. You can adjust the air vent and have it be cool. Navigation, you can follow along if there's a destination set. This is your controller, like the front. If you want to open or close the sunshade in the back, you can do so from back here. For your drink storage, you'll find that beneath this piano gloss black cover, which will definitely get scratched if you have kids. Slide that open. Cup holders can rise up. And this one's got a flap back here, which when down permits access to the DC socket, which is the only way to charge a device in the back seats. As equipped, you just have that DC socket. Kind of a bummer. So that means even in the center console, which comes down and now you got, an armrest and some storage, there's no USBs. Oh well. Your cabin lighting adjustments are here. You've got a reading light here. Coat hook. And now, let's hop back to the front for the final things, which we know what they are, before we get out to the drive. Step 1 is going to be our big bottle test. Will it fit in the Porsche Panamera small cup holder? No, that's not for a big bottle. Big one. Yes. Yes, but I mean, that's pretty loose. That could come out. I worry about that. Center console, entirely too small. I'm not even gonna test that. Door pockets, our last hope. Oh, nice and snug. Door test. Yes, it stays. So we've got a spot in the Porsche Panamera for a big bottle. It passes the BBT. And that just leaves revving it out. Let's go to Sport Plus. Maximum volume. Ooh, burbles. Soft limits at 3,000, but burbles. And I would say if you guys have been enjoying this video, please like it, comment, and share it, and maybe even subscribe to the channel. Just a thought. And with that, let's go rev it and drive it. I believe I got a request from the audience for launch control. So because we have the Sport Chrono package, we can make that happen. Let's go to Sport Plus on the drive mode selector. And then from here, we don't even have to do anything with the stability management system. I don't have to hold it or hit it once or anything like that. It's just holding your foot hard on the brake and giving it full gas. We're gonna wait for the light to go green. Just a second here. Foot hard, full gas, 5,000, let go. Zero trauma, and we're there. That felt quicker than Porsche's estimate of 5.3 seconds. And also surprising was that it's a rear-wheel drive vehicle. I mean, I guess it's all that tire that we have that I pointed out during the exterior walk around. Really great rubber, no drama off the line, and not tons of power. So yeah, we have a 2.9 liter twin-turbocharged V6 that replaces last year's 3.0 liter single turbo V6. And this engine was actually ported from the previous model year's Panamera 4S, I believe, or just regular, 4S, that was then detuned. And so now it makes 325 horsepower in this application, which is actually 5 horsepower less than last model year, but it does make 1 more pound-feet of torque for 331 total. That is sent through an 8-speed automatic gearbox to just the rear wheels. In the base car, of course, you can get the Panamera 4 and have the all-wheel drive system. I really do believe that 5.3 second estimate, maybe even quicker. And 325 horsepower doesn't sound like much. And indeed, this car isn't going to break your neck with the acceleration, but it definitely puts you back in the seat with that launch control system and feels plenty peppy. Now we're going to test out the turning radius. which is going to be helped by the fact that this vehicle, wow, that was tight, has the rear axle steering system, which will turn the wheels in the opposite direction for tight maneuvers like that, and then will point them in the same direction as the front at higher speeds to give you more stability. And that is a well worth it option if you ask me. One, I mean, just the basic maneuverability of the car in parking lots is so much better. That with the surround view camera system, you shouldn't have any issues with that. But the added stability that you get at speed is really very nice. And here in sport mode, the transmission is going to hold on to gears for just a bit longer than in normal mode, but it's never not completely fluid. Smoothly transitioning through the gears, completely imperceptible, happening in the background. There's not that chunk that happens with some dual clutch automatics. This torque converter 8-speed is just a peach. Now I'll hop back up to Sport Plus to really tune in on that exhaust noise. And I'm getting more engine and induction noise than I am exhaust, but there is a bit of a flump when it does upshift at full throttle. That's pretty satisfying. We're going to do another launch control at this light because we just kind of have to, right? Full gas, 5,000. Man. Hustles. That seriously feels quicker than their estimate, no doubt. And there again, hearing the flump of the upshift is pretty satisfying. And the engine note itself is pretty sweet, especially past something like 5,000 RPM. Just a downshift. And the turbos take only a second, like a fraction of a second to kick in. And the change from the 3-liter single turbo to the twin turbo system means there's even less delay. And the peak torque is coming in earlier on this car. We'll go back to auto for a sec. We'll take this corner. Post-haste, dig into these brakes. Those are solid. Just so stable through there. And I got on the power early just to see what would happen. And this car doesn't have Porsche's torque vectoring system. That is an option. And therefore, you know, it's not shuttling power to the outside wheel like you may want it, but it still feels incredibly stable, and it didn't really seem to struggle there for grip at all. Now let's hop back to the transmission for a second. I'm going to go into manual mode, and we're just going to do a bit of fiddling with the paddles, which, man, I mentioned they weren't that big in the interior walk around, but they do feel fantastic. So much fun to play with. And those shifts are incredibly quick. Running it out to the red line at about 6,800 RPM. So quick. I don't know, 325 horsepower feels a little underrated with how quickly this car picks up speed. And just zero complaints about this transmission in both automatic and manual mode. And also, we'll note that in Sport Plus mode, it's still too fast to downshift. There we go. Back to auto. Even in Sport Plus mode, because this car has the optional air suspension with Porsche's active suspension management system, the adaptive dampers with the air suspension, the ride quality is never harsh. Ever, ever, ever. This Sport Plus mode, this is as harsh as it's going to get. And yeah, you feel the bumps in the road a little more, and the car just kind of flexes more over, not flexes, it stiffly moves over the undulations, but it never, ever gets harsh. kick it back to sport. And heck, even, let's go to normal mode. Just really try to mellow out at this point and just enjoy the luxury, the finer details of the Panamera as a luxury car, which is incredibly smooth, very quiet in this cabin. The insulation goes to great lengths to filter out all the road noise and wind noise that might otherwise disturb the passengers. And with that air suspension doing its thing, it just settles into an incredible commuter. Very relaxed driving that you know that you can just crank up at any moment. So if you need push to pass power and you don't want to crank the dial for whatever reason, you just hit the center button here, and now you've got 20 seconds of improved throttle response. And if you ever need to stop it, you don't want to just hang out the revs there, you hit it once again and you're back to normal cruising. There is also an individual mode, so we can go over here all the way to the right, and that takes us to some pre-programmed settings about the ride quality, the steering feel, and the throttle response. So I've set it up such that we're getting the most casual ride quality, but the most urgent of throttle response. And let's do Sport Plus real quick for this corner here. So I just want to see the finesse of the Panamera in a corner. Oh my gosh. Incredible. For a car that weighs this much to feel that planted and that easy to modulate through the corner is a feat. That is what makes a Porsche right there. The handling, fine-tuning that you can do, the feedback through this wheel, it's on another level than its rivals, which we should probably talk about. But first, real quick, let's go back to normal mode, doing a lot of adjustment here right now. And let's just talk about the highway cruising. So this vehicle doesn't, as standard, get adaptive cruise control and some of the other more sophisticated driving aids, but you do now for the 21 model year as standard get lane keeping assist. So if you press in on this toggle here on the left, and then we set the cruise control, it will find the center of the lane and hold you to it. So let's see here. Just take off my hands for a second. It does seem to want to hug the left side of the lane, even to the point of tapping into the lane markers. So I've definitely seen better lane keep assist systems. Hopping back to competitors for a second, this little group of four-door coupes, if you call them that, slope-roofed four-door sedans, if you refuse to use the name, is tight-knit and expensive. The Porsche Panamera starts at $88,550. And mentioning the power again, 325 horsepower, the 0 to 60, 5.3 seconds. The top speed I didn't mention, 168 miles per hour. The fuel economy, 18 city, 24 highway, and 20 combined MPG. Those numbers are not going to cause waves when you think about the competitors, because the BMW 840i Grand Coupe, not the xDrive, just the base rear-wheel drive model, is, off the top of my head, $85,000 and $995 beyond that, $85,995, okay? That one makes more power, 335 horsepower, gets to 60 a half second quicker at 4.7 seconds. And the fuel economy for that one is 24 combined. Then you've got the Mercedes-Benz CLS 450. That one starts at a very reasonable 71,000 and some change. It makes 362 horsepower and gets to 60, again, about a half second quicker than this, 4.8 seconds, I believe. And its fuel economy is 22 combined, I believe. Yes, 22 combined. Then we've got the Audi A7. That one starts at the bargain of the bunch, 70 grand and some change. It makes 335 horsepower. It gets to 60 in 4.8 seconds. And the fuel economy for that one is 24 combined, like the BMW. If you want to throw in a more expensive competitor, There's the Mercedes-AMG GT43 4-door coupe. That one's going to start at 90 grand. It's going to make 362 horsepower with that same engine out of the CLS 450. It will get to 60 in the same 4.8 seconds as the CLS 450, and it also gets 22 combined mpg. So on paper now, the Panamera, second most expensive, least power, slowest 0 to 60, at least what their estimate is. Why would you choose this car? Well, when it comes to, as we experienced there, handling finesse, there is no better car. Porsche, their tuning of the steering system, their tuning of the suspension, the rear wheel steering, it's just better than all the competitors. Next closest, I would say, is the BMW 840i, the car that I think looks the best exterior-wise in the segment. The interior of the Panamera, especially in this Luxor beige, is truly beautiful. I would choose a different trim, so you're not having to deal with smudges and all that stuff all the time. But the layout is perfect. This infotainment is super responsive, very easy to use. The driver cockpit is really just focused on engagement with the car. The steering wheel feels fantastic, and manipulating it obviously is so much fun. The interior is solid in the Panamera, but mostly it's all about how this car handles. If you care more about it, first of all, if you're on something of a budget, then you're going to be more interested in the CLS 450 and the Audi A7. But the Panamera, albeit slightly too expensive in my opinion, as equipped like this, I would want to see it at 95, so maybe 10 grand less than what we've got it here. It's a little expensive, but what you get back in terms of the driving engagement is unparalleled by its rivals. I do hope you guys enjoyed this in-depth review. Again, please like it, comment, and share it. Subscribe to the channel. And until next time, Sport Plus.